Hi everyone. Today topic is shear strength behavior of soil, which is one of the most important concept in soil mechanics. Shear strength governs the stability of foundation, slope, retaining wall, embankments and earth dams. Even if bearing capacity is adequate, failure can occur if shear strength is insufficient. Okay, let us understand this topic clearly with a example. These are all the contents we will discuss one by one. Shear strength of soil, importance of shear strength, and then factors impact on shear strength soil, influence the groundwater table on the shear strength, followed by impact of soil state on the shear strength, then soil shear strength tests, what are the tests to be conducted in the soil, concluded with the shear strength soil formula. Okay, the first thing is shear strength of soil. Shear strength of soil is the resistance offered by soil against sliding along a plane when shear stress is applied. This resistance comes from two main sources. The first case, friction between the soil particle, and the second one is a cohesion or bonding between the particles. Here, higher shear strength means better resistance against failure will happen. Okay, simple example is when a slope is cut to steep in a loose sand, the soil slide down because the shear strength is insufficient to resist the gravity force. Okay, the next one is the importance of shear strength of the soil. Here, shear strength is essentially for calculating bearing capacity of foundation, stability of slope, retaining walls, embankments, etc. It helps engineer decide whether the soil can safely supported to the structural loads without sliding or collapsing. Okay. Best example is in retaining wall design. Shear strength determine whether the soil behind the wall will remain stable or excessive pressure causing the wall failure. Okay, and the soil strength depend on many elements. Okay, elements mean beams or columns or footings, anything. Okay, one fundamental consideration being the types of soil. Okay, the particle of most soil are essentially incompressible, and soil masses have not tensile strength will happen. Okay, this is what is known also known as shear. When the particle move across each other, the resisting or shear force is friction. Okay, the shear resistance or shear strength of soil is related to the physical properties of the soil, main thing. Okay, including the soil particle size, shape, distribution, orientation. Okay, various reasons are there. And then first one is a friction. Here friction is angle define the strength of the granular soil. It is critical design parameter for selecting the material for structural fill. Okay. After that, clay. Shear strength of clay soil exhibit apparent cohesion due to electrostatic attraction and pore water surface tension will happen. This give clear shear strength even without normal stress. Okay. However, this cohesion is not permanent and can reduce with moisture changes. Okay, best small example is a freshly excavated clay slope may stand vertically for some time, but eventually collapses as a moisture condition changes. Okay, but in the influence of groundwater on the shear strength of soil, groundwater affect the shear strength by altering pore water pressure. In saturated soil, increases the pore pressure, reduces the effective stress and hence shear strength. Permeability control, how fast pore pressure dissipates will happen. Okay, in the example, during heavy rainfall, slope failure occur because water increases pore pressure and reduces the soil strength will happen. Okay, In the short term, saturated shear stress of the clay soil is therefore a constant value referred to as a untrained stress. It is also denoted by Cu or Su. When considering the bearing capacity of clay soil, the untrained shear strength is very critical. Okay, over time the water will drain from clay and the pore pressure will slowly reduces. Therefore, the strength of the soil will automatically increases. After that, impact of soil state, okay, on shear strength of the soil. Here, the granular soil is affecting the shear strength is a degree of particle compaction or soil state. When the load is applied to loose uncompacted soil, the particle will move closer together as a soil contracts. After contraction of the soil, shearing takes place as the particles begin to move each other. Okay, where granular soil already densely compacted or little no contraction take place, okay, and particles are very interlocked. As the load increases, before particle can shear over one another, they have to move apart along the shear plane or unlocking the interlock block. Okay, this is known as a dilation. Okay, it's a peak strength. Okay, pi value here mentioned. These are all the shear strength tests are conducted on soil. Shear strength is determined using the laboratory and field test such as a Van shear test, direct shear test, triaxial test, unconfined compressive test. Okay, the choice of the test depend on the soil type and drainage condition. Here the first one is a Van shear test. Okay, here Van shear test is a test to test the particles. It may be a clay or granular. Okay, any type of soil need to identify the shear strength values. Okay, here shear strength values denoted in kgf per centimeter square value. Okay, in the experimental setup, the figure shows the part 1 is a Van shear apparatus, part 2 is indicating the specimen inside the Van shear specimen container, part 3 is a shear van with a torque rod, here part 4 is a torque applicator, 5 is indicating the torque spring. Okay, the next one is a borehole shear test. Another in situ shear strength of soil test for use on soft clay. Okay, a device is inserted into the borehole and filled with compressed air to expand the into the soil. As a soil shears, the shear strength to be estimated. Okay, here you can see yes, various parameters or parts are involved in the while extracting the soil. We have first to pull out the shear head, okay, in the borehole method. After that we can find out the shear strength of the soil by usage of control console, okay, or regulator. This one is a simple lab based shear strength test performed in the shear box. That one is a direct shear test. A soil sample is positioned in a shear box on a predefined horizontal plane. The specimen is placed under the different normal stress and the shear stress is determined in each cases. Next, during the shearing stages, shear stress is applied along the predominant horizontal plane to work out the shear strength of the sample. Here these are all the parts. Okay, first one is indicating the direct shear box apparatus. Here one is a direct shear box and second one is a dial gauge reading, vertical deformation measurement, and in the third case horizontal dial gauge, horizontal measurement. Okay, After that, fourth one is a proving ring for shear force measurement. Okay, and fifth one is components of shear box with porous stone, filter paper, two corrected metallic plate with perforation and without perforation. Okay, metallic pressure pad. Okay, all the things are parts. Okay, the next test one is a UCC, that means unconfined compressive strength. Here unconfined compressive strength is a strength to determine the shear strength value of soil, that which denoted as a SU. Okay, SU is usually determining the bearing capacity of soil and stability of earth and dam embankment, etc. Okay, here the diagram shows x-axis represent the axis strain and y-axis represent the actual stress. Okay, in the x-axis percentage portion are indicated and the y-axis in kPa or MPa value are indicated. Okay, here three values will be taken for the graph. Okay, three soil sample. Okay, failure point of specimen, maximum axial stress is here indicated. Here these are the unconfined compressive test specimen parts. Here one is indicating the loading frame of capacity of 2 ton with constant rate of movement. Here 2 is indicating the proving ring of 0.01 kg sensitivity for soft soil. Third one is indicating the end platen of required diameter made with the perfect class. Fourth one is a dial gauge, that means 0.01 mm accuracy. Fifth one indicating the soil sample of dia of 38 mm dia and length of 76 mm length. Okay, here these are the formulas to calculating the shear strength. Tau is equal to C plus tan by. Here tau is a shear strength of soil, C is a cohesion and pi is a fractional angle. Okay, here shear strength formula here shear strength is denoted as a kPa and cohesion also value is denoted as a kPa. Okay, here shear strength outline the Morse Coulomb envelope used. This equation form the basis of most geotechnical design used. Okay, thank you for watching.